The Republican National Convention in the United States is entering its second day. First Lady Melania Trump and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, they're going to take centre stage. Opening night saw President Donald Trump formally nominated for re-election by his party. Simon Marks joins us now from Washington, D.C. for more on this. Good morning, Simon. The Republicans have painted a rather dire picture of America under a Biden presidency, calling the Democrats radical. Can you tell us more about this?
Well, I mean, there's a huge contrast, Dawn, between what was promised at this convention by Donald Trump over the weekend. He was talking then about a message of positivity, inspiration and uplifting convention, and what was actually delivered here on night one, which was a searing and frightening indictment of what the Republicans insist Joe Biden is planning to do to America. Of course, they branded Joe Biden and the Democrats Marxists, radical leftists who are out to destroy life for the working class man and woman in the United States, destroy America's suburbs, a phrase that many political analysts view as being code for suggesting that non-white people may move into relatively affluent white-dominated areas in several key American cities. They described the Black Lives Matter movement and the protests taking place in several American cities as Marxist mobs that were coming to destroy America. We heard from a couple from St. Louis who became famous here in the United States for going out on their lawn and threatening Black Lives Matter protesters with guns. They insisted that the country is on the brink of a Marxist revolution and only American voters backing Donald Trump for a second four-year term in office can possibly head that off. And there was an utterly extraordinary speech that was made by Kimberly Guilfoyle, the girlfriend of Donald Trump Jr., President Trump's son. In soaring tones, she insisted that the future of America was absolutely on the line in this election, painted an extremely frightening image of where she said Democrats are going to take the country should they win election this November. And I think in many ways she overplayed her hand to such an extent that it was almost hard to rebound from it and then settle into the slightly more sedate speeches that followed. But look, a very, very dim and dire view of where the Republicans say the Democrats plan to take this country, and much of it not rooted in facts about the Democrats' actual policies.
So, Simon, are we then expecting the same kind of dire and dim view, the message from the First Lady and Mr. Pompeo tonight?
Well, it's hard to imagine, Glenda, honestly hard to imagine how they can keep the brimstone treatment up for 96 hours. I think at some point they are going to have to turn the corner, and there's a political reason for doing that. The convention is, of course, all about energising the base, just as the Democrats sought last week to energise their base by hitting the core messaging that they wanted to hit. But ultimately, and especially for President Donald Trump, it's got to be about bringing people into the tent. It's got to be all about trying to persuade floating voters who are flirting with the idea of backing Joe Biden in November's election that the Republican waters are safe and secure, and absolutely Donald Trump can be your president just as much as he can be the president for the more right-wing supporters that he already has lined up in his pocket. So there's going to have to be a corner turn. It may well be First Lady Melania Trump who is in the driving seat for that turn. There's huge controversy here over whether Mike Pompeo as Secretary of State should even be addressing this convention. No previous Secretary of State in the modern era has done that. They've always taken the view that they should be above the political fray. Indeed, there are suggestions here that Mike Pompeo, in making this speech, will be breaking his own rules and regulations that he has promulgated to senior members of staff and diplomats within the State Department. So another interesting evening ahead. There's no question about that. But the tonality of this was very much fire and brimstone on night one. Let's see where they go on night two.
Oh, that's right. You're going to keep an eye out for us on that. We've been speaking with Simon Marks from Washington, D.C.